biology first. I know, it's better at the beginning. Hello, all, and welcome to the DHEDF La Mesa Rural STEAM podcast. And today we're going to talk about the Innovation Lab Initiative. And we have as our special guest to brainstorm with David Huggins, who is the K-8 Innovation Coordinator for Mojave Valley School District number 16 in Mojave Valley, Arizona. We're delighted to have David and all of you with us. So with that, Mr. Huggins, welcome. And I'm all excited that you are in a new place. For us, for the first time we've talked. Would you tell us where you're at?
I am currently at Camp Mojave Elementary School, which is one of the two elementary schools here in our district. I am in our brand new Discovery Den 2.0. Our innovation lab at the middle school was such a great success, and it's done wonders for our enrollment, for our attendance, and just the school and district as a whole. Our superintendent, Mr. Cole Young, asked me if I would be willing to split my time between the middle school and the elementary school and make the Discovery Den something that we can all be proud of. And so I gladly accepted that job, and we are now currently in, and I will give you just a quick look at what we have here. So behind me are our 3D printers, the three new AD5Xs in our school colors, the enclosures, the 3 maker bots that I managed to get working again. My room is quite large because we have almost entire grade levels in here. We've broken it into different sections. This is the 3D printing section that I'm sitting in. Then we have our broadcasting booth, which is back here, which we're still in the process of trying to convert. We're putting the sound abating tiles up. This is our broadcast area. As you can see, our school colors are purple. So our equipment, our students will create our morning announcements from here. We'll create videos about what we've done within the Innovation Lab and within the Discovery Den, trying to keep the public and our community up to speed on everything we're doing. Our other area is right here. We have desks that we specifically bought with whiteboard tops. And we're going to use that for the state's Invention Convention. Our district is host for the Northern Arizona Regional for the Arizona State University State Invention Convention. And last year, the 2 years that Arizona's had that, our district has sent students not only to the regionals, but to state. And each year we have sent at least one student to nationals in Michigan. So we're hoping this year, instead of just sending 6th, 7th, and 8th graders, we can send 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And so this is our new STEM area. We offer a wide variety of electives. I have all 7 scope and sequence documents completed that I will be posting up on the D. Howard website, one for 3D printing and manufacturing, broadcasting, robotics, aviation, the state's Invention Convention, and visual arts, as well as our Google Suite lesson that we are teaching our 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders how to send an email, use Google Docs, and use Google Slides so that they're better prepared for the years that come on. So that is a quick tour of where we are at.
Thank you for that. It reminded me, as you were talking, a previous podcast with you before the idea of the Innovation Lab Initiative. We talked about your road at the middle school in building up the Innovation Lab there. That podcast, I think, is entitled something about 3rd to 8th grade overview and mentions Mojave Valley. Our audience can go to the website and probably the Innovation Lab page. I think it's also there, and view that podcast and have a better understanding of your road at Mojave Valley, all of the awards and success that you've had in the Innovation Lab. So audience, if you'll check that out, it's a great overview. Remind us, at Mojave Valley, you have 1 middle school and 2 elementary schools.
Yes, sir.
And so the elementary school that you are sitting in now, where you're initiating this program, is one of the 2. And as I understood it from you, y'all are planning to then launch the a second one at the second elementary school next year.
Correct. We have our innovation lab, which is 6th, 7th, and 8th grade up at the middle school. This is the Discovery Den for our elementary school that is 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade. And once we get this dialed in and doing what it needs to do, the plan is for me to drop down to the K through 2 elementary school and then to continue to build this pipeline. Mr. Young is a very visionary and forward-thinking superintendent. And his ideas I have bought into 100%. He is a strong believer that the earlier that we can build skills for our students, the better off we're going to be in the long run. And it also builds those skills and necessary critical thinking for our students who may want to stay here and move into the community. We're looking to partner with our rural high schools here at Colorado River Union, as well as with our local college, Mojave College. The hope is that we create a K through higher education pipeline of students that are equipped to handle 21st century jobs. They're equipped to handle the critical thinking and the communication skills necessary in order to compete with the big urban school districts, such in our state, it's Maricopa County. And our superintendent always asks, why not our kids? And I said, our kids can do that.
So on the local college you mentioned, is that a junior college, 2-year college, or a 4-year college?
It used to be a 2-year, and they have now upgraded it to a 4-year, especially for certain programs like medical. There's other programs there. They also won the one of the NCAA soccer championships, I believe. So we're doing well. But I do want to make one really quick point. The Discovery Den and the Innovation Lab, they're a major component of what we do, but it should never, ever take away from the valuable work that our core teachers do. Our English teachers, our math teachers, our science teachers, social studies teachers up at the middle school, our 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade teachers here, they're the ones that prepare our kids. They're the ones that teach them the reading, the math, the science. Our job here in the lab and in the Discovery Den is to make us an extension of what they are doing so that we are supporting their work, continuing to build the students up in ways that they don't even realize, oh, I'm doing math, I'm doing science, I'm doing ELA, because it's so much fun. That's what we want to do. We want to make it an extension of what they are learning and the state standards so that our kids move into these growth models and then into proficiency models from there.
Thank you for that point. Well taken and well said. Just to give our audience some context, Mojave Valley, Arizona, population size of the area that y'all are in, generally speaking, and what are the school sizes, just so people, the audience that is watching this can relate with the underlying message, as always, you too can do this.
Countywide, our population is about 228,000 people. The largest areas in the county, I believe Lake Havasu is one of the biggest cities in the area, but Bullhead City, Mojave Valley area, which is kind of connected along the Colorado River. We border directly with Nevada and we border directly with California. So we are literally kind of a tri-state area. Our schools here in our district, our middle school and our elementary school that I'm in, our total student body is right around 450, give or take, depending on the time of the year. We have seen, since Mr. Young has come in and brought in all of our different innovative programs that we've done, we've seen a very massive growth in our district. We are the only district in northern Arizona that is currently seeing a positive enrollment, where other schools in our area are looking at reductions in force, declining enrollments. We literally have waiting lists for students to get into our schools. It's because of the programs we offer. It's because of the teachers that we have. We have I believe 4 or 5 Arizona Distinguished Teachers and 1 Arizona Rural School Teachers of the Year. We have won numerous awards throughout the state. And as a matter of fact, Mr. Young has been down to the state capitol to talk about education with our state government because MVESD is setting the bar.
One last question, and then we'll get to the Innovation Lab specifically and your vision. I'm impressed by the amount of room that you have in the area that you're sitting in. I'm no expert in school resources, but I'm amazed that there was that much room available What was it used for before? I don't know that every school will have that much unused space. What's the deal there?
5 years ago, when I came to this district, the story here at Camp Mojave is very similar to the middle school. 5 years ago, when I came into the middle school, we had empty classrooms. We were coming out of COVID. We had a library that basically nobody was using. It was more of kind of a, hey, students need to go there to make up tests or doing this. It was like not used for what it was. And Mr. Young came in and he said, look, we've got two ways. We can wait to fall off the cliff or we can invest in ourselves. He made the choice to invest in ourselves. We took that library that we had and we gutted it out. We took out all the books. We took out all the shelves. We took out all the carpet. And we created this space that became our innovation lab. And the space up there is pretty much about the same size as this is, if not a little bit bigger. And in here also at Camp Mojave was our library. We thought, if we're not using the space, let's reconstitute the space into something that we can use, something that we can provide the stuff that the students want. And that's one of our driving factors with both the Innovation Lab and here at Camp Mojave is that we listen to our students. The Innovation Lab students last year were like, hey, Mr. Huggins, what's the possibility of us ever getting a photography class? Yeah, we can do that. So we brought on a new teacher that we got from Mojave College who's teaching not only astronomy, he taught a pilot photography class last year that the students absolutely loved. So by listening to our students and then utilizing the spaces that we have, this has been our message to rural schools here in Arizona when we're at conferences. Look, you don't need to think about it in terms of money. You don't need to think about it in terms of manpower or this. Utilize what you have. With Mojave Valley, we have utilized the spaces that we weren't utilizing to their potential. We converted those into spaces that now provide education to students that they want. And we found teachers that were willing to step out of their comfort level. Probably one of the best examples I have of that is one of my Innovation Lab coworkers up at the middle school, Mrs. McKenzie. She was asked to teach 3D printing, and she literally knew absolutely nothing about 3D printing. But you know what? She said, I can do this, and yeah, let's do this. And now she is literally, I call her my go-to expert on 3D printing. And it's the same with the Invention Convention. She took that on by herself, saw the potential, and decided, hey, let's host a regional now. So this will be the second year that we hold the regional. So you need to have teachers that are willing to step outside of their comfort level, that are willing to do new things. But on top of that, you also need to have leadership that values teachers that are willing to step out of that comfort zone. Mr. Young, our school administrators at both Mojave Valley and here at Camp Mojave, they give us the latitude and the opportunities to go out and do new things and try them. Admins told me, hey, try it. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, well, we know it doesn't work. We'll find something that does. And to have that latitude and that autonomy really goes a long way, especially when you're trying to do what's best for students in a rural environment.
So tell the audience, if you will, what your vision is for the Innovation Lab initiative, why you had the idea to do it and what you want to do with it. And what is it that you said to myself and Dr. Sardoff that so impressed us to put our resources, our effort, our support into your vision? Now, everyone knows I'm a pushover. But Dr. Sardoff is a university professor. She was a superintendent in a rural school district. She was the executive director of the Arizona Rural School Association and now the executive director of the National Rural Education Association. So she's a tough cookie. So what is it that you said that so impressed her?
Let me go back. Let's go back to 2024. We were at the Arizona Rural Schools Association conference. I was there to support our teacher, Mrs. Van Roy, who was up for Teacher of the Year and eventually won. We also did a session there as a school district. Our session was titled Where the Sidewalk Ends, because literally our school district sits out in the middle of nowhere. I mean, it's coyote, desert fox, tarantula, and sidewinder snake area. And I was watching all of these rural schools the people that I met in our conference, in our session, and the excitement about what Mojave Valley had done, I said to myself, well, if these people are that excited, why don't we try to set up something here in the state of Arizona where rural schools are starting to work together? I had eventually reached out to the superintendent of Wickenburg, got them on board. I had a couple of schools there close to Flagstaff were on board, but my district responsibilities, my responsibilities to my students, just they kind of took priority. And eventually it kind of went on the back burner. Well, then we fast forward to our first podcast that we did together, and we ended that, and the three of us were having a conversation. And I asked the question, why can't the rural schools across this country work together? It's been a vision of mine to help rural schools, no matter where they are, see that anything is possible. You don't have to worry about the space. You don't have to worry about the money. Grants can be written, finances can be found. If you have a solid vision and a solid base, your community members will step up. They'll help. Our Rotary, the Sunrise Rotary here, the businesses in this area, when we talk to them, when our superintendent goes and says, hey, we're doing this, we have people that are saying, yeah, hey, what can we do to help? And when I said that, why can't we get the rural schools to work together? Dr. Sadorf said to me, when you are ready to have that conversation, I'm ready. And I said, I'm ready right now, because this is not something that we need to wait on. If we truly want to change education for rural students, if we want to provide rural students with the quality of education that our large urban districts that receive larger amounts of funds from the states have, then we can't wait on it. So the idea was born. Wayne, your ability to create things on a website and get Brad involved and listening to everybody, and Michael's idea of the ability to be able to talk back and forth, and thus was born the Innovation Initiative. My whole vision of this is to be able to provide guidance and support to rural schools that are wanting to do something similar to what we've done here in Mojave Valley. I have already begun to put in lesson plans and materials that we use at the middle school. Later on this evening, I will post up all of the scope and sequence documents for all of our elementary programs, as well as our brand new program that we are starting up at the middle school. I have started a brand new electric vehicle course, thanks to Legacy organization here in Bullhead City. They gave me a $13,000 grant to be able to go out and purchase 2 electric go-karts that our students will learn about EV power versus gas, and then they will construct and build from the frame all the way to a fully functional cart. They'll take a road test, they'll take a safety test, and then we'll strap on some helmets and some safety seat belts, and we'll drive around our football field and our baseball field. We do that because this is something our students said they wanted. And I want to give that back, those opportunities back to schools, not just here in the state of Arizona, but nationwide. Any school that wants to do something like this, man, log in to the D. Howard website, get in there and ask the questions. I will provide all of the help that I possibly can. We'll share grant opportunities, everything. Let's make rural education in this country something to be proud of.
I'm not often at loss for words, but reminds me of my old boss's expression that that guy just lost the golden opportunity to keep his mouth shut. I don't, that's a hard act to follow. Thank you, David. I guess I'll not have to take his advice and carry on, but it might be a good opportunity for us to turn to the website and show the infrastructure that we've created for the audience. Now, let me say that in March of this year, 2026, I did a tutorial of the website features called Overview of dhedf.org. The video of that is posted on our homepage. After we created the infrastructure for the Innovation Lab, I did a supplemental overview. And that's what it's called, supplement number 1. That was recorded and is right next to the first overview on the website. And so anyone can view those overviews and see in detail the infrastructure that's there, including the Innovation Lab initiative. Anyone that's a participating school in the D. Howard Initiative can participate in the Innovation Lab. They have complete access to all the resources on the website except the membership resources, because that's by election, because there's $100 annual fee for an entire school. So it's up to them whether they want to get those additional resources or not. But all the stuff that we're talking about is not in the membership. It's in the general participating school resources. So with that in mind, these are the videos that I was referring to right here. I have logged in. You have to be a participating school. You have to log in. And then I'll show you, we have the Rural STEM Initiative drop-down menu. And we have a new feature which is there, so it's easy to find, Rural STEM Sign Up. We now have on that page opt into conversations. How you opt into the conversation if you're already a participating school or entity and you have already subscribed. It's very easy. What you do is you're logged in, you go to the top of the website and you click on profile, and this is the subscription form that you filled out to become a participating school, but we've made some additions to the form. The first thing that you'll come to that we've added is the conversation opt-in. I've already opted in. That's why my name appeared on the general conversation first page. All you have to do is click yes, and you've opted in. And you can also scroll down, make any amendments you want to your contact details. But then we've added this section towards the bottom of the form, so and you can put a little message in here, what your interests are, to the school or organization, when you go to website, the grade level, additional information here. It's not required, but it's there if you want to add it for someone to learn more about you and what your interests are. Then you click on update. Your name will go to conversations, just as Michael Landon did. He's added his name, and now his name appears. Thank you, Michael, for that. If we go back to the Innovation Lab Initiative page, I wanted to just mention to you that the top part of the page will be able to be viewed by the public, but the bottom part of the page can only be reviewed by a participating school that has logged into the website. And the last thing I wanted to show you about that is, you might remember that I asked David Huggins if he would share with us his vision, which he did. Is a terrific document, one of the best I've ever seen. And we posted it right here under Innovation Lab Resources. You can click on that, and there is the mission statement for the Innovation Lab Initiative that is organized by DHEDF, of course, Mojave Valley, and the National Rural Education Association. And you can review this at any time. It's a living document. We may add to it, change it up, edit it over time. There it is. You can print it out. You can save it on your computer. We have a new item in the banner called Initiatives. If you click on Innovation Lab, for example, and you're not logged in, although you're a participating school, you won't have access until you log in. Now, if you're not a participating school and you click on Innovation Lab, there'll be, click here and you can join. Reminding everyone, there is no charge to join. There is no obligation. We don't share your information. It costs nothing for all of these resources that we're sharing with you. Let's say you're a participating school, you've logged in. First, we'll go to Innovation Lab. There you see this good-looking fellow over here, our star of the show, and we're always honored to say that D. Howard International is a strategic partner of NREA, and you can click on that and go to the NREA website for a lot of great information. Here is the video that I was talking about earlier where David gave an overview of the growth of the Innovation Lab at the middle school in Mojave Valley. You can watch that to put all this in context. We sometimes do webcasts with schools. All you have to do is send me an email that you would like to be a host school for us to do a webcast, and we invite scientists to do a 1 hour webcast with your school, and 25 minutes of that is your students being able to ask the scientists questions directly. And we're now working on another project that may result in students being able to access podcasts that we set up specifically for students in out of school time. More about that later. And that'll be a national program. That's the Innovation Lab page. I sometimes get questions about, well, I saw on the newsletter podcast coming up and I can't remember the details. There are several ways you can find that kind of information. On the podcast for the STEAM initiative, which this is, all you have to do is click on that logo and it will have the information. We're trying to create one-stop shopping as much as possible. It's also on our STEM calendar, and you can get to the STEM calendar simply by going to Rural STEM, scroll down the menu, and you see Rural STEM calendar. Click on that, and it has all the details, including login to the Zoom call details on the STEM calendar. So you can also get it by going directly to a podcast page. So you get there in 3 ways. The calendar has it, the podcast page has it, the Innovation Lab page. All you have to do is click on that and you're there. STEM Forum. Now, the page you see here is the page the public can see. So if you want the whole world to see what you post, do all categories or general STEM discussions, and everyone in the world will see it. But if you want to post something specifically related to any of these topics, and we'll do Innovation Lab Initiative, you click on that, and only the participating schools can see that. Anyone that is a participating school can now post new discussion items on the STEM forum. You do that by clicking on the blue square, click on create discussion, and you can now create a discussion. This is on the recording. You put in your title. If you want to limit it to Innovation Lab, click on Innovation Lab. You can do this. Put in your title, what you want to talk about, or the question that you have. And if you have a attachment, attach it here, and then it'll let you know if it's too big. You can click on links, and you can put the URL in here, and you can add more than one link, put in another URL if you want to, and click on that. And when you're done with that, click submit. And let's click on Innovation Lab discussion items. We click on that discussion item. And if you want to reply to that, you can scroll down and click on submit your response. And everyone that has commented on that discussion item will get a notice that there's a response. With your response, you can also click on attachments just as originating a discussion item, or links just as originating discussion item, and click reply. Now you have conversations with a broader audience. Let me go to the item Mr. Lannon is responsible for, which we're profusely grateful to him for that idea. That's the whole purpose of discussions. If we can get more people participating in these discussions and in the conversations, more good ideas will flow from that. Just as the great idea that Mr. Lannon had, or the fantastic idea that Huggy had, or whoever, or David Purser, who's our lead on education in general and who's on this call, and our whiz kid on aviation, UAS, and drones. I know that we'll get great ideas and see if we can be responsive to those great ideas. conversations. Mr. Huggins and I are the Lone Rangers out here feeling pretty lonely because we're the only two that have agreed to participate in conversation. It costs nothing, by the way, if I didn't say that earlier. We'll pick on Mr. Huggins. You can find out by clicking on the name of the person some information on them. Maybe they send you a conversation. You say, well, I don't know if I want to respond to that person or not. Let me find out something about him or her. You already know that they're a participating school or a participating entity, but this gives you some information. Click on conversation. Put in the name of the person. It's a one-on-one conversation between you and the person you're writing to. We can't do multiple people in the conversation feature. And you put in what it is you want to, you send it. There it is there in your list. He'll get a notification, an email notification that he's got a message, but you get a notification that you've got a message. And you click on that, you get to the message, and then you can reply. There you go. So you can do one-on-one conversations if you want, or you can do broader discussion items if you want. It will generate information, dialogue, and may give us some ideas of other things that we need to provide as resources. As is always my custom, first recognize our esteemed leader, Dr. Sardoff.
I appreciate that. Thanks, Wayne, and thanks, David. I have to say, this is amazing work. And I feel like this is home turf for me since I was a former superintendent in Arizona. So Mojave Valley, home turf for me. But I do want to say that NREA really is proud to be collaborating on this partnership with the Innovation Lab Initiative. I think it represents exactly what we want to advocate for nationally. Rural students, as David says, rural students getting a first-class access to STEAM and aviation and career pathways. And I love Superintendent Young's phrase, why not our kids? Because it's true. You shouldn't have to leave your community in a rural place to find those kinds of opportunities. And I think that this is a great way to ensure that this is available to them. So, I'll just say what David is building in Mojave Valley and what his community is putting out in front of their students and what can be possible in other places is exactly the kind of story that I spend my time talking about on a national stage. And so I am glad that we're able to capture it here and provide it in a way that other people can take and run with in their own communities. So really appreciate the partnership and the thoughtfulness and the forward-thinking initiative that you have in place here. And we're very proud to be a part of it.
Thank you, Dr. Sardoff. Michael, I want to recognize you because you're already engaged and you are exactly the kind of a school that we did this for. Why don't you maybe take a minute or so about, if you're willing, to tell us about your school, where you are, what size it is, and tell us why you're interested in this initiative, if you would. Is that all right?
I'm an 82-year-old teacher. I signed my 58th contract this year. Those of you who are thinking to retire, don't. I'm at Johnson Elementary School, and Wayne said that's a 2-hour drive up and a 2-hour drive back. I wanted to get involved with a school that was in deep trouble from a behavioral point of view, that was very rural, very poor. So Johnson, Vermont is a community of about 3,500 people. Our school is about 150 children. And many times they're put down. You can't read, you can't write, you can't do math. I find that's not true. In my 58-year experience, I've never met a kid that didn't want to learn to read and write and do math. It's a question of getting to them and figuring out where they're at. So anyway, make that story short. Right above my school is the Vermont State University. Just had my second meeting with that president today. She is totally on board. We're talking right now about innovation badges. She's going to, in conjunction with our school, build a opportunity for elementary school kids to start earning college credit. I have an innovation academy going on with all kinds of things that come out of what I call my experience with project-based learning. I won't know what their innovations are for this 5th and 6th grade until I get back to school and see what they're thinking. I've only been communicating with my top 2 students this summer. I'll expand that next summer as I learn more. But right now I've got one very strong 6th grader that's going to do some robotics, and with the new BioGlow, he's going to try to convince the team that we're going to study the loss of the bee population in Vermont. You can ask me questions because I could talk forever. Thank you very much.
I don't know if you said, you mentioned 6th grade, but you're at an elementary school. I apologize if you said that and I'm just repeating you, but what grade level are you thinking starting at or including in time at the elementary school in the innovation lab concept, Michael?
Well, I have a principal that's very interested. I have a superintendent. I have the president of the university. Eventually, we'll drop it all the way down to preschool. But right now, it's going to be 4, 5, and 6 because that's where I have my biggest opportunity for impact over the next year. So this will be my 3rd year at building this. The other thing that's interesting, Wayne, is that I just happened to discover D. Howard because I was looking for places to fund money. I wish I'd known more about this 2 years ago. And I think that that's a piece of what we need to do with the NERA is to get more schools to understand that there's people out there thinking the same way. And when I talked to the president of the university today, she said the same thing. She said, Michael, there's all kinds of people working on this, but we don't have it connected. And the best people I found that are trying to connect it is you guys. So if we can get that connected, we can really do some tremendous educational improvements in this country, which right now are not where we need them to be. I think one of the reasons that we've got reading and writing and arithmetic not scoring well is because we're not interesting the children in what it is that they're interested in.
Well, there are a lot of great programs out there, and we're not in competition with anyone. That's why we always try and connect people with, at least that are sharing the same vision and have the same mission. So I wouldn't say we're any better than somebody else. I never say that because we're not in competition. But I do think that we can play a role, and we want to play a role, and we've invested a lot of time and money in creating the technological infrastructure to try and do that. And the best way we can get a return on our investment is for more rural schools to participate and just sign up and get in the loop. It's like sticking your toe in a swimming pool or water or ocean. If try it. If it's not too cold, jump in.
As this evolves to this university, and we talked today about the children earning innovation badges that are going to lead them towards credits. As that evolves, I'll let everybody know how that's happening.
Yeah. We'd love to talk to the university. Anyhow, we can talk about that offline. We've got 1 minute to be on time. David Purser, any comment? Just say hello. I don't want to.
Yeah, I do have a comment. David Huggins, you're a teacher far beyond other teachers. And Michael, you sit right there with him. I mean, I retired at 66. You're still going. Well, you make me feel bad. You make me feel like I need to jump in there and teach at schools. And then on top of that, driving the distance that you do. So my applause to both of you. David, great program. No matter connected with us or where you go, you're gonna make a lot of accolades. And Michael, thank you for what you continue to do for kids, because it's obvious your love is for kids.
Thank you. So let me lastly introduce Tracy Thomas, who's with us, who I've yet to ask to do one of these podcasts, but she's on the list. It's a forewarning. Tracy is a middle school teacher, has an incredible program, which we'll talk about another time. and is the chair of our Teacher Advisory Council, which you're all on now. Tracy, any words?
Fantastic presentation. Every single person on this screen is, education is better with you in it. You can just see the passion when everybody on this screen talks, and it's all about the kids. And Mr. Huggins, I'm going to have to go and look at that podcast. I am so jealous of that space behind you. That is amazing. Wow. Super cool. To just see that. I can imagine how the kids feel when they're in there, because that's how I am just looking at a portion of it. And just look, cool things are happening in there, and that is just awesome.
Thank you.
So thank you guys for all you do.
All right. Well, thanks to all that have joined us. Until next time, we hope to see you again. Thank you. And David Huggins, God bless, man. I didn't ask, where did all the money come from to pay for that stuff?
I have, over the course of the 5 years that I've been in Mojave Valley, I think I totaled it up one day between grants and other programs and just writing letters to people, probably roughly $35,000 I brought into the school.
Applause to all of you. And until next time,